Today, I've gathered more than 1,000 Edgar mains in Brawl Stars to see who among them is the best Edgar main in the entire game. A lot of people think that Edgar is a brawler that doesn't need much brain power to play. In fact, many say that Edgar can actually be played with your feet without any problem. Haha! Yes! Edgar has haters everywhere! Well, today we're going to see how all the Brawl Stars players play Edgar. So, let's see how more than 1,000 people manage to play with this character and win with him. The rules themselves are actually pretty simple. The tournament will mainly be based on two phases. The first will be PvP, where Edgar will face off against Edgar. That's right, this tournament will be a knife fight to the death. These will be knockout matches, best 2 out of 3, where if you end up winning 2, you'll win the round and move on to the next phase. These matches will continue like this until there are 32 players left. They will play in phase 2 of this tournament. They will see survival duels where, depending on their ranking in the survival leaderboard, they'll earn points and the top players will move on to the next round. The winner of all this will not only earn the title of the best Edgar main, but will also receive a pro pass. So we'll see which of the more than 1,000 people who made it to this tournament will be the best Edgar main in all of Brawl Stars. And remember, winning is winning. As long as it's an Edgar and ends up winning a match, it's a win. So let's see what happens. And that's how we start the first round, with more than 1,000 people playing at the same time with the goal of winning a pro pass. And well, many people were using quite different strategies to win a match. Some actually planned strategies. They equipped the first star power, the first gadget. Actually, playing with Edgar here is pretty precise, you know? Edgar is a brawler with a very short range, and there are quite a few strategies to play him. While some went all out against their opponents, others simply waited for them. In fact, there were moments when this seemed more like a competition to farm aura in Brawl Stars. The enemies just looked at each other with disdain and didn't really do much, they were just there. Some other fights looked like cockfights or Pedro fights. Even though they didn't want to get too close, they were just spamming basic attacks to see if by chance they could hit someone. Yeah, and I understand why people were afraid to get close. After all, in just a few seconds, an Edgar can delete you, no matter how good your strategy is. In fact, a fight between Edgars is often very tricky. These fights might look like there would be a clear winner. Something like that also happened with Zamamable. What a strange name, right? And just to be clear, the name isn't some dirty double entendre. That's what he chose to call himself. Well, even though he wanted to attack his opponent, in the end things backfired on him twice and he ended up being completely eliminated from the tournament. Other people weren't just fighting against their opponent, but also against the worst enemy in all of World Brawl Stars, which sadly often led them to lose their match. The matches in this tournament were so intense that you could almost hear the tear radiating from the players. Just listen to how hard they're tapping the screen, my god. Some other players actually made love, not war. But even I feel bad that they have to eliminate each other because this is Brawl Stars. There can only be one winner. And in this first round, many people had to leave empty-handed, since more than 500 people ended up eliminated in these one-on-one knockout duels. Moving on to what would be round number 2 of phase number 1. Here, we would see even more intense matchups. The knockout matchups were between Edgar mains, and yes, this meant more battles to farm aura. Something that honestly seemed intentional, but the thing is, since Edgar is a close-range brawler, PvP matches are actually pretty tough. Well, here we realize that even tiny things like movement speed could decide matches. And well, aura battles were sometimes just basic attacks for show, because many were afraid to get close and take damage. Something that could cost a lot and could end up in your elimination. And I don't blame them. If I were in that situation, obviously I'd be scared out of my mind. But honestly, the technical level of the players was always incredibly precise and decided in split seconds. Because when you least expected it, you were dead. In fact, some players shared their experience with us. Okay.
I'm already in my first match. This makes me nervous. I'm thinking through a strategy. When he charges his ultimate and wants to jump at me, I save my ultimate and that way I put up the shield. And that's it, man. Here he's cornering me, no doubt about it. Here I hit them. Here I land a few punches. He activates his ultimate there. And we have the game won. Oh bro, I'm really nervous. That's it. I won my first match. Look, here he comes. I activate hypercharge. I go at him again. And we ended up winning the match, bro.
Yeah.
Apu is an incredible strategist. I mean, I wouldn't have even imagined it. I would have just jumped into the fight without knowing what was going on. So, while we watched 20 straight hours of Maynard girls farming aura, what happened with Kura and Mathiel Camp? They actually became the biggest aura farmers of the tournament. And yeah, all we could do was watch kill after kill after kill after kill after kill after kill. Several players also ended up leaving in this round.
Well, up to now, we've already played a total of 700 matches. God, just imagine if I started talking about all 700 matches we played here. Honestly, I'd never finish the video. But anyway, that brings us to round number 3. Round number 3 was already known for having somewhat faster fights. Here, you could really start to see who the real Maynard was, now turning into a full-blown knife duel to the death.
Well, something pretty strange started happening here that I hadn't noticed in the previous fights. The technical level of the players started to rise even more. They started fighting for control of the center of the map. Because yes, as we all know, the duel zone closes toward the middle of every map. So winning this area almost always meant a victory. On some maps, this could be very easy thanks to the existence of walls. And since Edgar is a brawler who benefits from this, many times leaving these could mean a defeat. But winning the center of the map could actually be pretty complicated on maps that didn't have walls. Making a fight almost take place across the whole field, and holding the center was nearly impossible. But still, the person who ended up controlling the center of the map controlled everything. Of course, as always, many of us didn't care much and just went straight for the fight, like a true Edgar main.
And yes, you could really feel the player's energy once again. I know he's gonna let it open for a nest. Same thing. God, I mean, they hit the screen really hard, man. I mean,
Thank you, and of course, this round brought in more players who ended up losing. Well, we saw kill after kill after kill after kill from several players again. Thanks to this, we moved on to round number 4 of this phase. Here we could notice that there were actually more kills, but the best thing about round 4 was this. I don't know if they lost their internet connection, but seriously, they stayed like that for more than 10 seconds. Anyway, it seems that thanks to this tournament, we've discovered that Edgar is now the brawler who farms the most. And actually in round 5, well, yes, people were a little bit bolder. But really, not much else, nothing we hadn't seen before. So, that's how, after so many matches, we ended up with 32 players who made it to the semifinals. Where, as I explained before, the format will change. Now, instead of playing a one-on-one PvP, there will be 3 survival matches. Each match will have 8 players, and also an admin who will ensure the legitimacy and fairness of the tournament. The 2 players who are best positioned after 2 matches will be the ones who advance to the final. This works based on a point system. The number 1 spot gets 4 points. The number 2 spot gets 3 points. The number 3 spot gets 2 points. And the number 4 spot gets 1 point. So yes, it's not just about winning a match. You also need to be well positioned in the others, because if someone scores more points than you, they will be the one who wins and moves on to the final. So, let's go to the first semifinal. And that's how the first semifinal starts, with these 8 players and an admin. And honestly, it started off pretty intense in a very short time. Seriously, in a very short time, the first one died. Good old David. Man, poor David. But in this match, we saw that PvPs in the center of the map didn't take long to start, since the power cubes are essential to secure victory. And some players barely made it out alive by a miracle. And honestly, things in the semifinal were so close that with a small mistake, the other Edgar mains could finish you off in seconds. That's something very common among Edgar mains. Patience is actually a very good virtue for Edgar mains. Well, in this first battle, in a rather cruel way, the people who didn't have any battles ended up in the final PvP. And Ismail XD would win this first match. In the second match of the semi-final, the kills took much longer to happen. People played a bit more cautiously, since in this match it was essential to finish in one of the top spots. This was maybe to be able to achieve an Alga Montada. And by a twist of fate, Angel was just about to die, with only a few health points left. But when I least expected it, we saw a zone with 5 Edgar mains who eliminated each other in a matter of seconds. And the winner was Morte Bermela, who interestingly in the third match would also be the winner, securing his spot in the final along with Ismael. The matches of Group 2 in the semifinals were also something out of this world. The games got really close until the zone became so small and with many Edgars. In the end, you couldn't even tell what the heck was happening. But someone would end up winning. And those were Mati along with Letras Chinas who would move on to the final. So, what do you think if we move on to group number 3? Let's see the winner of this group's POV.
We're here in a new video from the Naga_BS tournament. I wanted to tell you that. They said they were going to focus on me. Let's show that. Who we are. One down. I don't know if I should go for it. Honestly, I don't know if it's a good idea. Because someone else could come at me and take advantage since I have low health. Okay, it's better for me to jump in now. I'll jump on this one. Shishi number 1. Shishis. Okay, this one dies. Okay, I'll take this opportunity to send greetings to my uncle, my aunt, my grandfather, my grandmother, to my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, to my cousin, my nephew, my niece, to my dog, my other dog, my cat, to my other cat, my parrot, and my other parrot. And once again, number 1, Shishi.
And that's how Negan Smith and Johannex the Lolade moved on to the next round. Meanwhile, to finish these semifinals, Group 4 was playing their 3 matches, a group where the first match it ended with 4 Edgars, 1 in each corner, and then a brawl broke out. The winner of this first match was none other than Felipillo, but interestingly in this group, in the second match, the winner was Letras Chinas, with a wide lead of 12 power cubes, and in the last match, it was a brawl where Taxi and Cars ended up winning. So who the heck made it to the final? Well, it was Felipillo and Piti Leandro. They were actually the best positioned in all the matches. But thanks to this, we already had all the players who would advance to the final and play 3 matches. To see who is the best Edgar main out of more than 1,000 players who participated in this tournament. If you've made it to the final of this tournament, most likely you want to participate in a tournament like this. Thanks to the fact that these tournaments are getting a lot of support from the community, we're gonna create more tournaments where maybe you could be the winner. All you have to do is go to the link I leave in the description, register on Bonox, go to the BNX Arena section, and choose the Nag_BS tournament. Keep in mind that right now there are many more tournaments, but for now, there isn't any tournament scheduled to be featured on this channel. Let me tell you, in the comments, you will choose the next tournament format. You will decide if the next tournament is with Colette. Maybe it could be with Piper, or maybe it could be with good old Charlie. With brawlers that maybe are only tanks, or I don't know, a brawler that you like. So, leave it down below in the comments what you would like for the next tournament. And the most liked comment will be the way we set up the next tournament. So remember to subscribe and stay tuned to the channel, because in the next few days, I'll reveal what the next event is about so you can participate and even win a Brawl Pass. But anyway, let's stop with the announcements and move on to the final. And that's how these 8 Edgar mains started the first match of the final. Remember, it's whoever places highest across 3 matches. These are the scores. From the very beginning, people actually started fighting over the boxes using the strategy of attacking from behind the walls because everyone wanted to be in first place to secure that spot. And for that, you needed power cubes. In fact, almost everyone was using the maneuver that all Edgar mains know, camping. Those who didn't do it, no, bro. F for Matty, bro. He was the first kill of the final. In this match, some others survived by a miracle, like Ismail, who with 14 health was still standing. My god, a warrior of 1,000 battles. The next one to die was Letras Chinas, who just flew high and couldn't hold on. And at the end of the first round, it was decided in a pretty random way. The winner of this round was Mortimer Mela. Moving on to the second match of the final, everyone realized that the best strategy was to go to the center, since that's where the highest concentration of power cubes was. This led to kills happening more quickly, although as the match went on, the best thing they could do was keep their distance, leaving only 3 people standing in this round. They were stalking their opponents from the bushes, waiting for the perfect moment to attack. Some might say that's camping, but no, it's strategy. With so many scarf swipes flying around, in a battle where even I don't understand what happened, Ismael ended up winning the second round. And that's how we get to the third and final match of this final, where the first to die was Letras Chinas, ending all his hopes of winning this tournament. After that, something happened that I didn't expect. What happened was that Mortimer Mela was almost dead. And with him, This is important because Morte Vermela is one of those who previously finished first in a match, so everything was lining up for Ismael to win the tournament. But in a cruel twist of fate, the other players focused on Ismael. He was able to handle one of them, yes, but against the second one, who is Jet Li.
Well, he ended Ismael's life. Interestingly, Jet Li would be the one to take the victory in the third round. So in the end,
Both Morte Vermela, Ismael, and Jet Li had each won a match. So we had to go to points to find out which of them ended up winning. So, well,
the Edgar main who won this match was neither Jet Li nor Morte Vermela.
it wasn't Ismael either. The best Edgar main of all was Filipilo. How? You might be asking yourself, how the heck did he win? Well, let's remember the scoring criteria. Yes, interestingly, Morte Vermela, Ismael, and Jet Li. Even though they finished first in one match, in the others they placed pretty badly. But Filipilo got second place twice, both in the first and second match. And in the third match, he finished in third place. And because of that,
He became the best Edgar main of all.
so yeah! Congratulations, Filipilo! You won in a way that only a main could do it, by finishing in second place.
But anyway, that's how we finished the tournament. So, if you really liked it, I recommend you go watch more Bonox tournaments that I've done. And of course, another video that you might love. See you!